Hi everyone, this is Abel. Welcome back to my channel. There's a ton of books we need to discuss today. We have previews, reading updates, we have writing updates. I'm going to show you actual physical books that have been delivered to me. Yeah, this is going to be great. Let's get ready. But before we start, remember that if you're interested in science fiction and fantasy books, this is the perfect place for you. So if you want to see more videos like this, please consider subscribing, leave a like, share this video. Thank you. Let's start with the Earth and Sky Duology by Katee Stein. I haven't read that many duologies. I think I have just read the Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom duology, and I'm really curious to see how they work for this kind of target, because most of the duologies that I've seen around, they were targeted to young adults, but this is of course an adult sci-fi slash fantasy, let's call it science fantasy duology. The first book is Earthbound and the second one is Skysworn. I had the pleasure and the honor to be part of the cover reveal for the second book, and you'll see the covers right here. This is about a character called Tyrant. Therin is an overseer. The basic concept in this world building is that Earth spawns terrible beasts capable of moving through all but stone. So there is an interesting mix between the world building and the actual threat that's surrounding this kingdom, let's call it. But the only people able to resist this kind of menace, this kind of beast, are people bound by oaths. I'm really curious to see what does it actually means. The personal conflict, the internal conflict, is that Tyrant has lost his best friend during a conflict against those beasts, and then he starts to get back to the capital. On the way to that capital, he's forced to travel with the widow of his best friend, and that sparks some kind of internal conflict between what he wants to do, his duty, and what he feels is actually right to do. So yeah, I am curious to see how the vibes of science fiction and fantasy blends, how they influences the actual delivery of the story, the character development, and the aesthetics. This sounds really good. The reviews that I've seen on Amazon and Goodreads are extremely positive. I like the covers, and yeah, I'll give it a shot, especially because, as I told you, duologies are not the common of a format for this kind of story. So the idea of having a story delivered in a succinct format and to have a satisfying payoff in just 2 volumes, it's really fascinating for me. I haven't read that many standalones because I think that especially epic fantasy and space opera, they need space to actually expand the world and the world building and the cultures and the scope of the story. So I just frown a little bit upon standalones, but duology, I think there's potential there. So I'll absolutely give it a try. If you have read this, let me know what you think about it, and I'll let you know what I think about it as soon as I finish it. Just a couple of days ago, there was another cover reveal. I had the pleasure to assist Ryan Skeffington in showing off the cover for his second book in his series, which is called Eternal Dreams. And I must say, I liked the cover for the first book, but this second one, is so incredibly epic because of the atmosphere that it delivers, but also because of the artwork, because it's that good. And that's the kind of space opera that I enjoy and that I yearn for and I really love. Of course, I'm not going to spoil the synopsis for the second book. I will just mention briefly the description for the first one so that you can judge and you can decide if this is something that could potentially interest you. And it is about a character called Maximus, which is an engineer, and he lives in this ring world. And as soon as I have seen the cover for the first book, when you can actually see the ring on the background, though that remind me of Halo, of course. But in Halo, the first time at least that you visit a ring, they're deserted. There's remnant of old ancient civilization, and you always wonder how it looked when it was originally created. Did actually people live there? Had they thrived in civilization? In this story, people actually live and thrive on rings, but that thriving, it is in ear quotes because there is something sketchy going on. In fact, Maximus has this really irregular and also tedious life as an engineer, and it says you kind of have the idea that he was destined by the government to do this. I think there will be a huge class divide and class infight inside, because he's supposed to do that for the benefit of the entire civilization that lives there. It's kind of a calling. You have to do your part to help everyone else thrive. But of course, he dreams to do a different life, something more meaningful from his point of view. And the occasion to have a different life comes in a very dramatic ways, because the description says that he discovers actually that there's a big lie in the underbelly of the society that has colonized the ring. So he discovers this kind of conspiracy, let's say, and also something about his lineage, about his father. So there's this perfect storm for him to embrace a new lifestyle that will be, without any doubt, really dramatic. So I'm really curious about this. I think that the world building is really fascinating. The setting is, of course, but also the hints that we have in the description. And yeah, I want to show you off just actually the hard copy for the first books, because I have got it. It's been delivered to me pretty recently. Here it is. Take a look at the paperback. This is the spine. This is the back. And this is the cover. I like the covers. High contrast, full of action. You see the ring on the back here. And it has a nice quote on the back that says, "Today is a day for action and nothing less than complete commitment to an idea. The idea that our lives have value, that we can exist for no other reason than to be alive." And then there's a blurb from a US Space Force officer that says that about this book, a heart-wrenching sci-fi thriller that ends with a bang. Yeah, I like the formatting for the internal. This is a quick read. I think it's around less than 300 pages, 269 pages. Yes, so here you have it, and I can't wait to haul also the second book, because that cover is paperback worthy, or also hardcover worthy. Let's give it a try. I'll let you know more about this when I finish reading it. If you have read it, let me know what you think about it. Let's take a look at this fantasy story by Kane Williams, which is called Perils of the Past, a fast-paced fantasy full of action and adventure. This is about a character called Antarna that has spent years and years training at a temple, because she's training to be ready to fight against assassins if they strike again once more, because she says never again will she be helpless. So this immediately gives you hints about a pretty dramatic past, and at the end of the description it says that she's forced to get back to the place that she fled before she enrolled in this really grueling kind of training at the temple. I'm curious to see why this specific temple, if there's some kind of religious undertone in this. She's preparing to be ready to fight back against some kind of conqueror or invader, but why this temple? And also I want to know if the illustration there, the cave mouth, it is actually has some kind of symbolic meaning. Why does it look like the mouth of a dragon? I'm curious. And also says that that temple gets attacked again. in the description, and that she is forced to seek a cure for the disease that has been infecting the temple. So I'd say, I wagered that during the attack some kind of plague hits the other inhabitants of the temple. What's going on here? I'm curious in the best, I'm confused and curious in the best way possible. So, as the description says, this is supposed to be a fast-paced action-adventure. The cover is pretty amazing. I like the illustration, I like the typography, because you know I'm a graphic design junkie. This sounds really, really interesting for me. And it actually comes out pretty soon. It's out at May 23, 2025. So, let's give it a shot. It's really cheap too. The release offer for this one is just 99 cents. So, yeah, I'll absolutely give it a try, and I'll let you know as soon as I finish reading it. Let's sprinkle a little bit of lit RPG in this video, shall we? I have a series that it's called Iron Tyrant. We have 3 books, 2 books out, and the third one is going to be released in May 2025. I'm not sure if this is supposed to be a trilogy or if there will be more books in this series by Seth Ring, and I didn't know that this author has an extensive back catalog of lit RPGs. So the first one is Chain of Feathers, the second one is Crow's Fortune, and the third one, still to be released, is Healing Skies. The protagonist of this story is a guy called Matteo that has been going through it says, wonderful years of his life with a loving master, but he gets dumped in another training session, which is much more difficult and grueling, because he's supposed to become a duelist, and people that are called duelists in this world, they have superpower. They're special people, and he's conflicted because he wants to be one of those, but I suppose he didn't expect of this kind of training to be that hard and that cutthroat, he says, because in the camp he's bestowed the lower rank of root card against his will, so he will be able to progress and become better and better, because this is the basic mechanics of every kind of lit RPG. So yeah, the first book is released, the second book will be released this year. So this one is really fascinating for me, especially because the mechanics of him being weak in the beginning of the story and being forced to become really powerful are explained in a pretty elegant way here. So yes, I wanted to give it a try. And let's see how far the story goes and how the elements of lit RPG and classic fantasy, medieval epic fantasy will be blended together. I'll let you know. If you have read this series of anything by author Seth Ring, let me know, and I'll let you know as soon as I finished reading it. Now, there's a whole series I want to mention, that it is The Legend of Adani by Ryan Kirk. We have 4 books out, and the 5th will be released in August, and they are Born of Light and Shadow, From Shadow to Flame, The Ascension of Light, Children of Light and Shadow, and the 5th book that will be released in August 19, I think will be the last, let's see, is Legacy of Light and Shadow. And this is about 2 siblings, Elaine and Samora. They're the last descendants of a race of fighters, family, group, religion of fighters called Adanists, and that says that that group of fighters, the kind of incredible fighters, they were really famous because they fight against monsters and invaders, but something is happening because they're losing the war. So we are at the bitter end of this huge conflict, but the description says that the night is always darkest before the dawn. So there is hope for a positive outcome, even if the situation is so bad at the beginning of the story. So the basic concept is that those 2 siblings, they find a weapon, and that completely shatters the peaceful life that they have. It says that they have been raised in a place that doesn't know any kind of violence. They have been living at peace for most of their life. But of course, the fact that they have that kind of legacy in their blood, being descending from this kind of group of fighters, kind of forced them to embrace that weapon and to do something to fight against those invaders and monsters. So let's see how it goes. The series is pretty extensive, 5 books. It gives you a lot of space to show off character development and world building and conflicts and politics maybe too. So yeah, I'm really curious about this. If you have read anything of this, because the first book was released in March 2024. So if you have read anything about this author of this specific series, let me know, and I'll let you know more about this as soon as I finish reading it. The Forgotten Saga of the Lost Company by Michael Maguire. Is it Maguire or is it pronounced in another way? I was doing pretty well until this moment in my videos, because I know how talented I am in destroying names and surnames. But anyway, this is an epic fantasy story, but it also sounds a little bit like historical fantasy, because something on the description reminds me of things that I have been studying. I was studying when I was pretty young, and it says there is this huge conflict between a big conquering empire and another smaller kingdom, that it is the last bastion of resistance against that kingdom, and they have been able to resist because they are fierce fighters that have this connection with land, and they basically worship nature, and they're so strong that they have been able to win a couple of battles against those invading forces. And the fact that they were able to resist changed the political landscape around the world, because it's in a way an encouragement to other countries to resist that invading kingdom. But there's a small group of those fighters that during one of those fights they remain behind enemy lines, so they're basically surrounded in enemy territories, and they are haunted by the empire. It says that those 3 characters, a captain, a sergeant, and a squad mage, they have to make peace between each others, because it looks like they don't like that much to work together, but also to find a way to get back and to save their lives, to run away and to get back to their original land. But there's also something else, because the ending of the description is really, really nice. He says, "The struggle, we see mountains toppled, ancient power awoken, and the embers of rebellion fanned to life. But with enemies within the company as well as without, and a strange dark presence haunting their every step, will they have the strength and courage to bring the lost company home?" Yeah, this sounds really interesting. The fact that it has this down on earth setting, that it reminds me what happened with the Roman Empire and with the Saxon a little bit, and has the cover is pretty much a Viking inspired vibes. It sounds really, really, really intriguing to me, and I'm absolutely giving a try. And if you are interested in this, let me know. And if you have read something that has this vibe, a little bit Viking, but also Roman, that has historical fantasy vibes, let me know, because I am more and more interested in this subset of fantasy story. So let's give it a try. I'll let you know as soon as I have read it. I wanted to mention author Noah Isaacs. I have mentioned his books, Memories of Tomorrow, a couple of months ago. It is the first book in the Tales of Arim series, because he has an upcoming release. He has Flames That Bind Us. This is a prequel novella to the first book in the series, which is Memories of Tomorrow, and I had the pleasure to work on the typography, both for book 1 and for book 0 here. So I mentioned the synopsis for the first book, but I still haven't had the chance to read it, even if I have a paperback that I will show you just in a moment, because it looks so good, and not just because I have worked on the typography, but because the illustration is actually that good. So this is about a guy named Arim, which is the protagonist, that is being haunted by vision. Everything that he sees, it actually happens. So he has this ability, he has those premonitions really vivid. And he had a troubled past because he actually envisioned a tragic event when he lost all of his families and the place when he grew up in a fire, which is actually what we're supposed to see in the prequel novella here. And he's just living a really poor, really miserable life with his best friend Jasper. And he's haunted by another vision when he says that both of them, they will be unalived pretty soon. So he embarks on a journey to go south and going to try and understand why he's able to have those visions, why they're so vivid, and why they become truth every time. So this has all the elements that I really like for a really effective epic fantasy story, and the fact that it all surrounds these characters and his character development is honey for me. That's the kind of story I live for. And yeah, I want to show you just the paperback for the first book. This is Memories of Tomorrow. So the illustration, yeah, the contrast here, the lighting, it makes you kind of difficult to see the character on the story, but I can tell you, I can assure you that in real life, in the flesh, in the paper, it works much, much better. So this is the spine, and this is the back that has the description that I just briefly mentioned. This is around, how many pages? 300 and less than 320 pages. It has a nice formatting on the inside. I also had the pleasure to do the typography for the title page here. Looks really nice, if I may so myself. And yeah, let's give it a try. If you have read this, let me know what you think about it. I'll let you know more about what I think about it, about this one and the novella, as soon as I finish reading them. Also, shout out to author Natalie Kelda. I have mentioned the first book that I have read from her Inner Universe series, which is River in the Galaxy, but now we have 5 books out and more coming in this universe, and another standalone novella outside of this series. The first books that I've read and I've reviewed, not last year, but the year before, was River in the Galaxy, which has this really interesting world building. It's a sci-fantasy series with actual ships of wood who are sentient, and they travel between the stars. They have to use predefined roads that are called rivers in between galaxies and planets. There was a very nice character-driven story, a really deep exploration of grief and other really heavy topics. A nice plot and a good middle, let's say, ending, because the series is organized in standalones, duologies, and trilogies. So you can read the whole thing straight from the beginning to end, or select the specific entry points, and then you have other adjacent stories, short stories. So the main series, it includes arcs inside. It's composed by River in the Galaxy, Inner Other Universe, Quarantine 13, Under Far Galaxian Skies, Rebels of Magroth, and then we have short stories like Where Kids Are Monsters, The Shadow of a Favorite Friend, Vaults, and Interim Tales. So it's a pretty expansive universe, and all the reviews that I've seen, they're all amazing. As I told you, I have extensive reviews for the first book, which I enjoyed really very, very much. And you can just tape Natalie Kelda Abel Montero, you'll find my review there. So we have this large, very ambitious and all-encompassing series here, but we have also an upcoming release from author Natalie Kelda. It's Reflection of Lilje Damselfly, Lilje, and this is a completely different story. I think it's a standalone. It's about a nymph and which is sick. She has a problem. She has to find a cure for her disease, and she searched for a cure in Edwardian London, I think. Yeah. So she has to to go to a spa, and something happens, and she presents herself as a nymph of the water without any clothes on, and that sparks a huge scandal. And how she tries to blend together with the people to understand why they were so scandalized, and to meet new people and to search for a cure for her illness. She finds love, but there's internal struggle and probably something else going on. So yeah, I'm really curious to see how this actually develops as a story, and the character development side of it too. The cover is special. It's really special because Natalie actually drew herself the cover. It says that she ruined her wrist for months to try and finish it. It is really interesting. The story is completely out of my comfort zone, and it's probably a good thing, but I'll absolutely give it a try. So if you have read anything by the Inner Universe series, let me know, because that one is really up down my alley, and I want to finish it. I will probably start to collect the paperback next month. And if you want to read this one, I think you still have time to apply for ARCs. You can have an electronic ARCs by following the links on Natalie's profiles on X or Instagram too. So let's give it a try together, and let me know if you have read anything from this. I'll let you know more when I finish reading the rest of the Inner Universe series and this one too. Also, shout out to author and booktuber Tori Tecken, which is the face and the voice of Tori Talks. And she has another book coming out, which is not connected to the Legend of the Halley series, which is, I think, is her most famous series. This one is called Cold Silver for Souls, and it's a fantasy story, but it has this Wild West and Gold Rush vibes. And it says that we have this protagonist, and this is a bounty hunter that goes after people and also maybe supernatural creatures. And it says that she goes after them when the love doesn't want to get their hand dirty. So she is supposed to have special abilities, but also the things that she's hunting, they're special. They're specifically dangerous, okay? And it says that we have a list of tropes here that are really down my alley, that I love them very much. We have found family, a lone wolf and a cub, motley cute tropes, character-driven storytelling. This one will be released on May 27th. This is the cover. You have pre-order links on Tori's profiles on X and Instagram. And of course, go and check out her booktube channel, which is one of the best, actually, science fiction and fantasy booktube channels you can find today. Her reviews are on point, and she's really knowledgeable. She's a gentlewoman and a scholar, let's say. So let's give it a try. If you have read the first book in the Legend of the Halley that I have here, or if you have read her dystopian novel, which was Faced, I think, let me know what you think about those, and I will let you know more about this one as soon as I read it. Now, let's talk about the Dark Law series by Wick Welker. I have mentioned the first book quite a while ago. I think it was one of the first books that I have mentioned when I started this channel, and it is a blend of science fiction and a little bit of fantasy, or post-apocalyptic science fiction, by judging just solely by the vibes of the cover and the description. And this is about I'll mention the synopsis for the first books, because we actually have the release of the second novel, even if on Amazon it's listed as the third, because there was a novella in between. So the first book is Dark Theory, the second one is Dark Kingdom, and the third one, which will be released on May 15, is Dark Prophet. Okay, so the protagonists of these stories are a robot, an android, and a thief He is called Betrow, and she's called Miri. And they have to work together, they have to band together, because he has no memories, the robot, and he just knows that he needs to find his creator. And Miri, she just wants to retire. she just wants to do her last job, her last contract, and then retire, because a life as a thief, I imagine, it's not a happy life. It's not that easy and happy life. So we have this deserted, post-apocalyptic setting when they are forced to work together because there is a new warlord wreaking havoc around the land, and for some reason the solution to this kind of conflict is that the android and the thief and the woman, they have to steal a piece of black matter, which is the most valuable thing in the world there. So it's a heist story basically, but also there's a part of the description that it's really cool for me. As they trek through the feudal wasteland in search for answers, they realize the true extent of the chaos surrounding them, because the stars are disappearing from the sky and the entire galaxy is unraveling. As he uncovers his origin, Betrow discovers he may be the key to the salvation of the cosmos or its destruction. Time, space, and loyalty become relative as he learns the real reason he was created. And that's incredible. So yeah, I like this mesh of science fiction, post-apocalyptic vibes, and also a little bit of fantasy maybe. And the fact that it is so focused on the characters. Also, I didn't expect the first book to be the huge chunker that it is, because I have it right here. Actually, let me show it to you, because it looks incredible. And this one was delivered to me just a couple of days ago, and I was jumping by happiness because it looks so cool. So this is Dark Theory. It's the first book. It's huge. This is a weapon of a book. Yeah, this is really incredible. It is around, let's see how many pages. Ooh, come on. Okay, around 680 pages. I think they basically hit the limit page for the binding of KDP books, you know, the print-on-demand books printed directly by Amazon. It has a really nice formatting, not too little, not too small, not too big, and a nice aesthetic choice for the chapters here. We have this really modern font at the beginning, and then a really classic here at the end. It looks incredible. The colors, the saturation, the illustration, the vibes. What is this thing falling from the sky? This huge egg. Is it a spaceship? Or is it a building? So this is Betrow, the robot, and this is the thief, Marie. And what is this word about? Okay, so this is the first one. And then we have book 1.5, which is Dark Kingdom, but it is listed as book 2 on Amazon. Dark Kingdom, we have the protagonists here. Always, I think they're always Betrow and Marie. But this is a short story, of course, much shorter. This is around, how many pages? 170 pages. So I think you're supposed to read this after you read the first book. Okay? This series has amazing reviews too, and from bloggers and bookstagrammers, but also from review sites that I usually go and visit, finding for new recommendations and reviews. So I'm pretty sure it will be amazing. And it looks so good. Come on. Oh, come on. Look at this. Yeah, and I can't wait to have the third book too. And I hope I'll be able to read this before summer, because this is the kind of book that I really enjoy. And I can already tell it will be one of my favorite of 2025 for the small amount that I have already read, because when I receive the book, the first thing that I do is go and watch for acknowledgements and to try and read the first chapter every time. So yeah, this looks really promising. If you have read this, because it's been out for a while, let me know, and of course I will let you know more as soon as I read it. Real quick reading updates. I am almost halfway through a lot of books that I'm reading, jumping from one to another. And Chosen of the Dark Realm by David Comfort, The Black Mantle by Andrew Watson, Molten Flux by Jonathan Weiss, Heliotrope by Padma Pickering, and last night I got around 28% of Ships of Merrier by Gianni Wirtz. I'm loving them all. They're all really good story with different settings and really interesting characters. I am trying to finish the Ships of Merrier faster than the others, but it takes me more time to read if compared to the others. So I think that I will try and finish it this week, even if it is that long and it takes me so much to read it. Now, for comparison, to read the first book, it took me almost 3 months, because I am a slow reader, but it also because there was some kind of a learning curve, pretty steep for me, to try and understand the vibes and the language of the first book, because it is so elegant and so complex and so beautiful. But I'm reading this one so much faster because I think I have done the heavy lifting with the first book and I'm just enjoying the story here. Also, there are discussions of the Talking Story channels for the whole series, and I hope I'll be involved. I'm not sure 100%. I would love to be involved in the discussion for this one too. It's supposed to be at the this month in April. I don't think we have a date here too. So I'm trying to finish it faster than the others. But as I told you, I'm loving it, even if it's pretty different from the first book. I can tell you that the introductory part of this stories is really, really different from the first one in a good way. And yeah, enjoying them all. I'll let you know more about all of those stories as soon as I finish them. But I want to use the ending part of this video to show you a little bit of books that have been sent to me kindly and generously by the authors. I want to shout them out and I want them to show them off because they're really beautiful. So the first two books that I want to show are from author Mike Mollman. And these are a science fiction book and a epic fantasy books. So let me show you the first one, which is Becoming a Druid. This has a glossy cover, so it will be a little bit difficult to find the right angle. Okay, you have the illustration with the protagonist here. This is the back cover. Okay, so this is the and Mike sent me a lot of stuff here of goodies aside just the story, and also a really nice little sword that I don't have here at hand and I have on the other side of the room. So this one is about Graham, who wants to be a druid, and he has dreamed to be a druid for all of his life. He's talented, he's headstrong, but there is another older druid that makes him fail the initiation test, and it becomes kind of a pariah. He has to run away, and because all the other druids are turned against him, and so he's been hunted and he has to make impossible sacrifice or lose everything. So this is a really well beloved epic fantasy story. It has high ratings on Goodreads and Amazon, and it is around how many pages? Around 335 pages. So I should be able to finish this in a couple of sittings, and I'm really pumped about this because the series is pretty long. I think we have 4 or 5 books out and they all have amazing reviews. So yeah, if you have read this, let me know what you think about it because it's really promising for me. But seriously, this one it also even more promising for me. This is the Halley Traveler, also by Mike Mollman. This is a science fiction story, and it's about, it says, Earth has fallen into chaos, and Mars is a collection of bickering city-states. The protagonist, Chris Halley, an introverted teen, is left behind from his family in an uncaring world. He must navigate through the murky world of Martian smugglers while seeking vengeance for his father's murder. Both are deadly propositions. This is the first book in the Children of Mars saga, and look at this illustration. How cool it is. This is around how many pages? Look, bookmarks, nice bookmarks here. Around 380 pages, 70 pages with a really nice formatting. Let me see if I can show you a chapter header. It's really, really nice. And yeah, I will probably read this one first because I need some more science fiction in my life. And Mars is the perfect setting, of course. It will be endlessly fascinating. So thank you, Mike. I unboxed these books on Instagram and on short reels here on YouTube. If you want to see actually the actual unboxing of the books, go and search for those short videos. Yeah, I can't wait to read them. They look so cool. Also, huge shout out to author A M Knigh to sending me the whole Union of Men epic fantasy series. How cool is that? How lucky of a man I am. How lucky of a bastard I am. It's the whole series. Okay, so let me show it off. The first one is The Freeing of the World. And if you want a better description of this series, I have mentioned the whole synopsis in my previous video. So this is the first book. Always illustration by Jeff Brown, which is a genius and a gentleman. Okay. And this band is because this is actually a proof copy, an ARC copy. But if you buy it, of course, you won't have that. Then we have book 2, which is The War of Annihilation. Look how hominid it is. But I love the colors. Okay, this is the second book. And then we have The War at the World's End. You can see the progression of the story and how much more war-focused becomes as the book progresses, as the story progresses. Then we have the fourth one, which is The Three Leaders. I think this may be my favorite because of the landscape, because of the warrior on a horse, on horseback. This is the back. And then we have the last one, which is The Union. So we're supposed to have finally that union at the end of the story. Okay, this is the spine. And this is the back. Okay, let me just read for the sake of whomever wasn't connected or didn't follow this channel when I read the description for the first. It says, a generation's sacrifice freed the world. This is the first book, of course. But everything they've done could be undone if the king remains incapable of getting an heir. And this has strong Game of Thrones, Fire and Blood vibes, because the beginning of the story was about the succession of the king right there. The kingdom risks being divided. Plots are hatched to find a successor, and desperate people gamble on crossing the forbidden ocean. And then it says that there will be something else going on that I cannot read because of the ban here. Oh, there is a group of people of different kind of country that they have to band together because there's a terrifying threat outside. Okay? Yeah, this looks awesome. The whole series looks epic, even if they're pretty short. And the writing is not that big and not that small, I'm sorry. So I think that they're actually pretty quick reads. We have also beautiful maps inside. See, this is really, really nice. And more. We have two maps. One is a full spread here. So yeah, this is one of my priority reads for this year. I think I'll try to read at least a couple of those books before the end of the year. And this is the first, the full series here. Okay, really nice. Thank you, A M Knigh. I'm really proud to have the whole series ahead of the release. I think they will be all released pretty soon. You'll have the whole series between April and the end of July. I think all 5 books. There will be a fast release, and yeah, I'll let you know what I think about those as soon as I finish reading them. And the last series I want to show you off is the Legacy of Boulom series by authors Timothy Wolff. And I'm lucky enough that the author decided to send me the entire series. And I want to show you off the whole series, all the books. This is the first one, Platinum Tainted Darkness. The Legacy of Boulom. Look at the illustration, how cool it is. This is the first book. This is the spine. And this is the back, with a lot of blurbs here and a lot of really nice reviews. It says that when the gods send their bingers, the guardians are all who stand in its way. But who protects these defenders when the gods seek to sway them? Protagonist is Serena Morgan. She struggles to maintain the neutrality of a guardian pact when a neighboring kingdom invades her home. The god of death offers his divine powers to stop the invasion for a price. As the conflict escalates, the remaining guardians will pray to the other meddling deities, and the choice given to Serena might be the only thing that keeps them together, or results in their doom. Not all gods love their people, but the ones that do may end up the most dangerous. I really love this description and the look of this book. This is around how many pages? Around 360 pages. So this is the first one. The second one is Tears of the Maelstrom. Front cover, spine, and back. I'm not going to read the synopsis because I don't want to spoil the story. And the third one is Age of Arrogance. This is the spine, and this is the back. I think the series is completed, so I will be able to binge the whole series in a pretty reasonable time, because they're so short and sweet, and because they look so gorgeous. So yeah, the concept is really interesting. Reviews are really strong. Thank you, Timothy. This is an incredible present. I'm really proud to show them off on my shelves. And if you have read anything by Timothy Wolff, let me know. And also, he has another series. I think he has published at least 2 books in another series. I can't remember the name. I'm sorry, I should be better in this. But yeah, I'll let you know what I think about these books when I read them. A writing update. As I told you last time, I have finished the final draft of the second book, the sequel, or the second book in the Memories of Kenji series, the sequel to the Crimson Fire, and I'm working on revisions of that. I'm also pretty late delivering ARCs, the physical paperbacks copies, because I got a bunch of those from the printer and they didn't look good at all. Because it is pretty difficult to have a good balance when the cover is mostly black and white here and has just specific size that are colored, because somehow when the printer is not spot on point, especially the red circle that you have there, the red moon, it kind of bleeds out on the white, and I didn't love them. Even if those copies were supposed not to be the final edition, they were just supposed to circulate amongst ARC readers, and I know that many of you you were ready. I'll probably write a newsletter to describe specifically what went wrong with that printing, but I'm not sending anything of those because I don't love how they look. Even if, of course, they're not the final deal, they will look good or nothing. They will look good or I won't sell them, okay? So it will take me a little bit more time to finalize the paperback and hardcover for this book for my upcoming release, The Crimson Fire, and that means that I will probably send finished copies to my ARC readers, the one that were selected to receive books for reviews. So you won't get an ARC in time, and I'm sorry about that, of course, but in exchange you'll get a finished copy of the book with a proper printing, with proper color balancing, and with the finished product. Okay, so just be patient. Just be patient. ARC requests for these books are sadly over. I'm sorry. Thank you for whoever decided to ask for a review copy, but I cannot leave the book available on any other platform when the release approaches, because I have a exclusivity deal with Amazon to put my ebooks as a sold to sell them at a really reasonable price. It's just 99 cents. Or to read them in their catalog of Kindle Unlimited. And when you accept a deal, you cannot have the book in any other platform to sell them or to give them away as a present. So yeah, I will leave a small amount of time when the book is not available on any platform ahead of the release on Amazon, because they're really picky on their politics. So yeah, the final edits, final proofreading for the Crimson Fire are going really well. They will be ready a couple of weeks before the release, which is a fast approaching. It's at the end of the month. It's 29 of this month, and then I will dedicate myself to revision for book two, and then I will spend a couple of months revisioning book 2, and I'll see how the actual delivery of the first book, how reviews goes, and how people are dealing with it, to decide when to release book 2. I want to be flexible and to see if it is a good idea to release it pretty soon, pretty close to the release of book 1, or if it is better to give breathe to the first book and to wait a little bit and to give people the chance to read it and to leave reviews and to enjoy that one, and then starting a campaign, an art campaign for the second book with arcs and all the rest, with the same process. And I'm learning a lot, and I hope that the advertising side of book 2 will be smoother and easier, even if the release of or reveal of the cover and the early feedbacks are really good. But there have been a couple of hiccups on the road. Okay, I've been stumbling a little bit on the road and learning a lot. So let's see how it goes. And thank you to everyone for your support, to all ARC readers. All the reviews are really good. The amount of stars, I think we are more than 4.5 stars of rating, or average rating on Goodreads. And thanks to everyone that has helped me to spread the word, sharing the cover, sharing their idea, discussing the books on social media, which is incredibly important, especially for the independently published authors like me. I'm truly grateful, and I can't wait to give you to see the actual hardcovers and paperbacks, to see how they look on your shelves. And again, yeah, that's all about the writing updates, and it is all I've got for you today. Thank you for being here until the end of the video, and remember that if you enjoy science fiction and fantasy books, this is the perfect place for you. So if you want to see more videos like this, please consider subscribing, leave a like, share this video. But if you want to see more right here, right now, you have more videos right here, right now. Thank you again for being here. Thank you for being wholesome. I'll see you in the next one.